From scars to stars, rewriting your story of pain into a masterpiece of strength. Welcome, fellow travelers, on this wild journey we call life. I'm thrilled to have you join me today on the BlackCEO Podcast, where we're about to embark on a transformative exploration of healing, hope, and the hidden power within our deepest wounds. Before we dive in, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the incredible woman whose insights and wisdom form the backbone of our discussion today. Candace Johnson, the visionary creator of Beauty Marks and Gentle Marks, a guided healing journal, is nothing short of a modern-day alchemist. She's taken the lead and copper of human suffering and found a way to transmute it into pure gold. Her work isn't just changing lives, it's rewriting the very narrative of pain and trauma. Candace, if you're listening, know that your impact ripples far beyond the pages of your journal. You're sparking a revolution of healing, one beautifully marked soul at a time. Now let's get down to business, shall we? Picture this. You're standing in front of a mirror, stark naked. No, this isn't the start of a questionable joke. Bear with me. As you stand there, vulnerable and exposed, what do you see? Do your eyes immediately zoom in on every imperfection, every scar, every mark that life has etched onto your skin? Do you wince, wanting to look away, to cover up, to hide? What if I told you that those very marks you're trying to hide could be the key to unlocking a strength within you that you never knew existed? Like, what if those scars aren't flaws, but constellations mapping out the epic story of your resilience? Sounds a bit far-fetched, doesn't it? Like something you'd read on one of those inspirational posters with a soaring eagle or a sunset. But stick with me, because we're about to flip the script on everything you thought you knew about your wounds, your pain, and your potential for healing. Let's start with a little reality check. Life, in all its messy, chaotic glory, has a way of leaving its mark on us. Sometimes it's a physical scar, a reminder of a tumble off a bike or a brush with something sharper than we anticipated. Other times it's emotional, the invisible yet deeply felt wounds left by heartbreak, loss, or betrayal. We all carry these marks, whether we can see them or not. They're the price of admission for this wild ride called life. But here's where things get interesting. What if those very marks, those scars we've been trying to hide or erase, are actually our superpowers in disguise? What if, like a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis, we could transform our pain into something beautiful, something powerful? This isn't just feel-good fluff, my friends. This is the revolutionary idea at the heart of Candace Johnson's work. And it's a perspective that has the power to change everything. Now I can almost hear some of you thinking, sure, easy for you to say, you don't know what I've been through. And you're right, I don't. Your pain, your struggles, your scars, they're uniquely yours. But what I do know is this. Within every wound lies the seed of incredible strength, if only we have the courage to nurture it. Let me share a story with you that might help illustrate what I mean. This comes from a blog called Dawn of a New Day, 365, and it's a tale that many of us can relate to. Picture this. You're going about your day, maybe doing something as mundane as household chores, when suddenly, bam, you have an accident. Nothing major, but enough to leave a mark. In this story, the writer's first instinct was to brush it off. It's just a bruise, they thought. No big deal. But as the days went by, that bruise didn't fade. In fact, it became clear that it wasn't just a bruise at all, but a new scar forming. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Instead of lamenting this new imperfection, the writer had an epiphany. They realized that this scar, this permanent mark on their skin, was actually a reminder of their body's incredible ability to heal. It wasn't a flaw. It was a testament to resilience. This, my friends, is the kind of perspective shift that can change everything. It's about looking at our scars, both physical and emotional, and seeing not damage, but evidence of our strength. Not reminders of pain, but proof of our ability to heal. But let's be real for a moment. This kind of shift doesn't happen overnight. It's not about slapping a good vibes only sticker over our pain and calling it a day. No, true healing is a journey. And like any worthwhile journey, it has its ups and downs, its moments of progress, and its setbacks. This is where Candace Johnson's approach comes in, offering a roadmap for those of us who have felt lost in the wilderness of our own pain. It's a journey that begins with 3 fundamental steps: reflecting, releasing, and recovering. Let's start with reflection. In our fast-paced, always on world, it's so easy to push our pain aside, to slap a metaphorical band aid on our wounds and keep moving. We're told to get over it, to move on, to stay positive. But here's the thing: true healing requires us to pause, to turn and face the very things we've been running from. Reflection isn't about wallowing in our pain, it's about acknowledging it, giving it space, and most importantly, learning from it. It's about asking ourselves the tough questions: what happened? How did it affect me? What can I learn from this experience? This process can be uncomfortable, even painful. It's like cleaning out a wound. It might sting at first, but it's necessary for true healing to begin. And here's the kicker: when we allow ourselves to reflect, to really sit with our experiences, we often find that our pain holds valuable lessons. It becomes a teacher, albeit a tough one. But reflection is just the first step. The next part of the journey is where the real magic happens: release. Now, when I say release, I'm not talking about letting go in the sense of forgetting or dismissing our experiences. I'm talking about a deep, intentional process of unburdening ourselves. It's about forgiving, not just others, but ourselves too. It's about letting go of the what ifs and the if onlys that keep us tethered to our past pain. This process of release is where we begin to rediscover the gem that's been hiding within us all along. It's like clearing away the debris after a storm. Suddenly we can see the beauty that was always there, just waiting to be uncovered. But let's be honest, release isn't easy. It requires courage, vulnerability, and often a supportive community. This is where faith comes into play. Candace Johnson's work is grounded in scripture and faith, encouraging us to invite a higher power into our healing process. Now, I know not everyone resonates with traditional religious language, and that's okay. I, the key here is recognizing that there is something bigger than ourselves, something that can provide comfort and guidance when the journey gets tough. This idea of community and healing is beautifully illustrated by another initiative of Candace's, the Beauty Marks podcast. Imagine a space where women come together to share their stories, to find support, and to grow together. In a world that often tells us to hide our pain, this podcast creates a safe haven where vulnerability is not just accepted, but celebrated. Think about that for a moment. How often do we feel pressured to put on a brave face, to pretend everything's fine when we're crumbling inside? Now imagine a place where you can show up exactly as you are: scars, pain, and all, and be met with understanding and support. That's the power of community and healing. Now we've reflected, we've started to release. What's next? This is where the real transformation begins: recovery. Recovery isn't about returning to who we were before our pain. It's about becoming something new, something stronger. It's about taking all that we've learned through reflection and release and using it to craft a new narrative for our lives. Think of it like this: when a bone breaks and heals, the place where it broke often becomes the strongest part of the bone. Our emotional and spiritual healing can work the same way. The very places where we were broken can become the source of our greatest strength. This is the heart of what Candace Johnson is teaching through her Beauty Marks guided healing journals. These aren't just books with blank pages, they're carefully crafted companions for your healing journey, offering thoughtful prompts and a structured process to guide you through reflection, release, and recovery. Imagine having a trusted friend who knows exactly the right questions to ask, who can guide you gently but firmly through the process of transforming your pain into purpose. That's what these journals aim to be. But here's the thing about recovery: it's not a destination, it's not a checkbox we tick off and then forget about. Recovery is an ongoing process, a journey of continuous growth and transformation. And like any journey, it has its ups and downs, its moments of progress, and its setbacks. This is why the approach Candace Johnson advocates is so powerful. It's not about achieving some perfect state of healing. It's about embracing the process, about finding beauty and meaning in every step of the journey. Now, I want you to think for a moment about a wound you're carrying. Maybe it's a physical scar that reminds you of a difficult time. Maybe it's an emotional hurt that still aches when you think about it. Got it in mind? Good. Now, I want you to imagine looking at that wound through a different lens. What if, instead of seeing it as a source of pain, you saw it as a source of strength? What if that very wound became the foundation for a new chapter in your life? Sounds pretty out there, right? But let me share another story that might help bring this idea to life. There was a woman who had been struggling with the emotional scars of a difficult childhood. For years, she had tried to bury these memories, to push them down and pretend they didn't exist. But the pain kept resurfacing, affecting her relationships and her sense of self-worth. Then, she discovered the Beauty Marks Journal. At first, she was skeptical. How could writing in a journal possibly help with wounds that ran so deep? But she decided to give it a try. As she began to engage with the prompts in the journal, something remarkable started to happen. For the first time, she found herself able to look at her past without being overwhelmed by it. The structured approach of the journal gave her a safe space to reflect on her experiences, to acknowledge the pain she had been through. But it didn't stop there. As she continued her journey, she found herself able to release some of the burdens she had been carrying. She began to forgive, not just others, but herself too. And in that process of release, she started to rediscover parts of herself that she thought were lost forever. The most remarkable part of her story, though, was what happened next. As she moved into the recovery phase, she found a new sense of purpose. The very experiences that had once caused her so much pain became the foundation for a new calling. She started a support group for others who had been through similar experiences, using her story to bring hope and healing to others. This woman's journey illustrates the transformative power of the approach that Candace Johnson advocates. It shows us that our wounds, when properly tended to, can become well springs of strength and purpose. But let's be clear, this kind of transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's not about positive thinking or simply deciding to get over our pain. It's about engaging in a deliberate, intentional process of healing. It's about facing our pain with courage, releasing our burdens with grace, and recovering with hope and purpose. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, that's a great story, but my pain is different. My scars are too deep. This couldn't work for me. And I get it. When we're in the midst of our pain, it can feel all-consuming, insurmountable. But here's the thing. Your pain, as unique and deep as it is, doesn't disqualify you from healing. In fact, it might just be the very thing that qualifies you for an incredible journey of transformation. Think about it this way. Have you ever seen kintsukuroi, the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with gold? The philosophy behind it is that the piece is more beautiful for having been broken. The gold seams that repair the cracks become part of the design, creating something new and even more valuable. What if we could apply that same principle to our lives? What if our broken places, our scars and wounds could be filled with gold? What if they could become the very things that make us uniquely beautiful and valuable? This is the invitation that Candace Johnson extends to all of us through her work. It's an invitation to see our scars as beauty marks, to recognize that every mark tells a story of resilience. It's an invitation to uncover the beautiful masterpiece that we truly are. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This sounds great in theory, but how does it work in practice? Well, that's where the Beauty Marks guided healing journals come in. These journals aren't just books with blank pages. They're carefully crafted companions for your healing journey, offering thoughtful prompts and a structured process to guide you through reflection, release, and recovery. Think of it like having a wise friend who knows exactly the right questions to ask, who can guide you gently but firmly through the process of transforming your pain into purpose. That's what these journals aim to be. But here's the thing. A journal, no matter how well designed, is just a tool. The real work of healing happens within you. It happens in those moments when you choose to face your pain instead of running from it. It happens when you decide to forgive, even when it's hard. It happens when you take a step, however small, towards a new future. This is where faith comes into play. Now, I know the word faith can be loaded for some people, but when I talk about faith in this context, I'm not necessarily talking about religious belief, although that can certainly be part of it for many people. I'm talking about a deep trust in the process of healing, a belief that there's something bigger than our pain, something that can guide us towards wholeness. Candace Johnson's work is deeply rooted in scripture and faith, reminding us that we don't have to walk this journey alone. There's a higher power ready to guide us, to support us, to transform our scars into strength. But even if traditional religious language doesn't resonate with you, the principle remains. Healing is a journey best taken with support, whether that's from a higher power, a community, or both. Now, as we start to wrap up our time together, I want to circle back to where we started. Remember that mirror I asked you to, to imagine standing in front of. I want you to picture it again, but this time, as you look at your reflection, I want you to see yourself through new eyes. Those scars you were trying to hide, they're constellations mapping out the story of your resilience. That emotional pain you've been carrying is the raw material for your greatest strength. Those imperfections you've been ashamed of, they're what make you uniquely, beautifully you. This shift in perspective isn't just about feeling better about ourselves, although that's certainly a nice side effect. It's about unlocking our potential to bring healing and hope to others. Because here's the truth: your scars, your story, your journey of healing, they're not just for you, they're a light in the darkness for someone else who's struggling. Think about it. How powerful is it when someone who's been through what you're going through reaches out a hand and says, I've been there. I know it hurts, but there's hope. That's the kind of impact you can have when you embrace your scars as beauty marks. So here's my challenge to you, my call to action. Start seeing your scars differently today, right now. Look at that mark on your skin, that emotional wound you've been carrying, and instead of seeing something to be ashamed of, see a story of survival. See a testament to your strength. See a beauty mark, and don't stop there. Take a step towards healing. Maybe that means picking up a copy of the Beauty Marks Journal and starting your own guided healing journey. Maybe it means reaching out to a trusted friend or counselor to start processing some of the pain you've been carrying. Or maybe it simply means taking a moment to look at yourself in the mirror and saying, I am not defined by my pain. I am defined by my capacity to heal and grow. Remember, healing isn't about erasing our past or pretending that painful things never happened. It's about integrating our experiences into our life story in a way that empowers us rather than diminishes us. It's about taking the very things that once caused us pain and allowing them to become sources of strength and wisdom. As we close, I want to leave you with this thought. What would your life look like if you embraced every scar, every mark, every wound as a beautiful part of your story? How might your relationships change? How might your sense of self-worth be transformed? How might you use your experiences to bring hope and healing to others? These are big questions and they don't have easy answers. But I believe that as we engage with these questions, as we embark on our own healing journeys, we open ourselves up to profound transformation. We begin to uncover the beautiful masterpieces that we truly are. So go forth, my friends. Look at your scars with new eyes. Embrace your story. And remember, you're not just healing for yourself, you're becoming a beacon of hope for others. Your journey matters. Your healing matters. You matter. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of healing and transformation. Until next time, keep turning those scars into stars. The world needs your light.